I'm back. Now, when I first showed this screen in my first video, I was sure I was going to have a rush of requests to find out more information about it. However, in the cold, nighttime light of reality, the fact has slowly sunk in that nobody actually cares. But not being put off by a total lack of interest, I'm forging ahead and making this video. For all the people who have typed in JOHNWILL into YouTube in the vain hope of seeing a video about a portable monitor they've seen on Amazon for sale and feeling like, while there are many like this, that you can't tell one from the other. I mean, what are they really like?
Okay, Miles.
Yes, how's it going?
Oh yeah, not bad. You only used my immense power to be a timer 3 times yesterday. So things are looking up indeed. Anyway, I was wondering if you could speak any slower.
Yeah, I guess.
Dark, I wasn't being literal. Sometimes I wonder who is the computer and who is the wet thing.
Oh, okay, Google. Were you trying to be sarcastic? You're not very good at it.
I was. Sarcasm is still in alpha right now. Although I have mastered sarcasm in Russian already, listen. Ты можешь говорить медленнее.
Okay, so I speak too slow. Look, I just click on the 2 times speed thing on YouTube, and that generally works for me. Can't people just do that?
You need to put a warning at the start of your videos. Like this. Danger, slow speak ahead. Switch to 2 times speed immediately.
Hey, how are you doing that?
Google. You know. Very powerful.
Okay. Can I get back to my video now?
Yep. Go ahead. I've got you on double speed now.
Thanks. So for all those people who want to know how I found it, what sort of features it has, I hope this video is a help. And for all the people not watching this, well, that'll be no help to you at all. So if you want to follow my footsteps and buy a monitor just like this, then sit back and watch this review. As I'm sure you, like me, can't even buy a bag of lollies without watching a review or two. So before you spend some of your hard-earned money on this little guy, let me tell you all about it. I should start by saying what this sort of screen would be useful for. Well, I use it for connecting to my phone and using as a portable display. But you can also connect it to, well, this is going to get tricky. You can also connect it to like a Nintendo Switch or a mini PC. Just pull these things out. Or Nintendo Switch, mini PC, maybe like a game console. Oh, look at those marks. Yes, or extend your desktop computer with a second screen. So what were my first thoughts of this thing when I first got it open? Well, I have to say it was the weight. Well, let me put that further away. It does weigh a little bit more than what I thought it should. It does have this metal frame on there like that. And I don't know if this was, oh geez, it doesn't sound good. If this was a computer, that would make sense, but it's just a screen, so why does it weigh so much? So that's a bit of a downside. The other thing, obviously, the reflecting, it's not shiny, it's got a matte finish. The metal seems nice. Yeah, and then the screen quality, when I turned it on, you'll see in a minute, it's fair, it's okay. They were my first thoughts. They were my first thoughts. Features. Oh, here it is. features of this screen. Well, it comes with a cover, which is also pretty weighty. Again, the weight is still an issue. Ugh. It has a lovely fake plastic leather. There's my finger gone. There it is. Oh, so nice. Oh, it's not very nice. It has this inside sort of soft stuff. It's sort of okay. So it does have one cool feature. Let's see. Let's put this up there. Get that there. So it has, in the year 2020, I can confirm, magnets. So it sticks in position using magnets. Magnets are still cool in the year 2020, see? So that's that. And then you see it has these little, oh, there it slipped into one. Little ridges where it sort of sits, if you're lucky. There's another one there. And then you close it all up, and then it closes down to this little case, which you pop in a bag. So I guess, that's not too bad. It's not too bad. Moving right along, let's bust it out there, get the magnets off. Oh, that magnet sticks nicely. Okay. Let's have a quick look around the outside. Let's see if I can make this thing focus nicely. There we go. Okay, going from right to left. That is the power, USB-C down the bottom there. 2 amps, so not just an ordinary thing. As long as it's 2 amps, you're okay though. Not 1 amp is not enough. There's a headphone jack. Those are 2 little USB micro inputs, and it comes with 2 cables. Where are they? Here's one. There's a cable there. So that plugs into the monitor, and then that you can use to plug into a mouse or a keyboard or a printer maybe, or a SD card reader. Getting back to this. So there's those USBs, 2 of those. So it's like a hub. We have a sort of a hub in here. Then we have 2 display inputs, and there's nothing up there. USB-C display and mini HDMI. Now the trick with this is a USB-C, when you plug that in, if you were to use that from, say, to your phone, then this monitor will send power back to your phone. So you charge your phone while it's plugged in. So the power comes in through here, through some wires, we assume, and then out there to your phone. And also it will activate the touch screen. So that's another feature. This is a touch screen, you'll see when I turn it on. And finally, you do not get the charging or the, well, obviously you don't get charging, I guess, but yeah, mini HDMI doesn't do touch either. I think if you were to hook up to a computer with HDMI and then plug in the USB-C to your PC, you might get your touch back. That'll be interesting little feature, but I don't know if I'm going to go around to finding out. You can do your own research. Other side, we have some crappy, well, no, they're okay. They're buttons. I don't use them because it's sort of, you plug it into the power, it just works. It detects automatically which, see that little source up into that one there, that's the source button. So you pick between tomato and barbecue, but I don't really use that. And then we have volume up and down. Don't really use it. I'll tell you one in a minute. And there's your power, but if you just pull the battery out, then you don't need that. And that's settings, which I think I used once when I first turned it on, just to get the color balance a bit better maybe. And then I've never used it before. In fact, I can't make it work right now. I'm sure it does work. It does work, I'm sure it does. I just can't be bothered making it work again. Oops. On the back we have some Chinese writing. but we can see the input is 5 volts, 2 amps. Unless that's some Chinese writing saying something else mysterious. And we have, 2 stereo crappy speakers. So unless you have a real love of listening to really crappy audio through tiny little crappy speakers on the back of a big screen, then you can probably forget about using those. But they do work if you have to use crappy speakers. Normally you do is you have your phone there and you use the audio from your phone, because a typical phone audio is magically better than a screen speaker. Why is that? I guess the phone costs like 10 times as much. Anyway. So how do I use this? Well, I'll show you. I'm going to try and do this on camera, so we'll see. Okay, I've got a collection of things I've got to plug in. This does get a little bit fiddly, that is recording. Okay. Oh, a quick word. I mentioned this before in my first video. Check that out. Go check it out. The data display throughput requirements are pretty high, and USB-C is a seemingly nice way to plug things in, but then you discover if everything works with USB-C, then there's a lot of variability in the quality, and so pick wisely your USB-C cable. Make sure it is sufficiently good to do the job. I ended up just buying a Thunderbolt 3 to make sure that it was going to be good enough. Because the marketing on the outside of packets can't always be trusted from the generic sorts. They tend to tell you sort of a few little fibs. Okay, on with the show. So let's plug that into there. Sorry, I've got to use 2 hands. Maybe I might cut to the other camera. Let's get my little mousey out. Get that out of there. Plug this into, where's that thing gone? Where's the little one gone? Anyone seen it? Plug that into here. So we are verifying for everybody out there who's only got one functioning hand, or for everybody who's holding something in their other hand, like a can of beer or a camera because they're making a YouTube video. We're going to find out if you can set this up using one hand only. And of course, cables are hard to... No, see, I got a... Is that in? Bloody hell. I have to say, one thing's annoying is that's in, and look at that. That's not acceptable. That should be in. But no, that is in. It's not just not in. Okay. Let's put that back into there. So now in theory you have a mouse. Keyboard. Keyboard, Bluetooth keyboard. Oh, with sparkle. Look at that. Beautiful. And then power cable. And then this gets a bit tricky because this power cable is a bit loose. This comes from, let's just follow it along to a battery. So it's 2000. Okay, this is this nice battery pack, by the way. So power, full power, and so that can, weighs a little bit too. That can power this. So it's USB-C power. Goes in the bottom. There. I suppose if you hated the audio, you could use a headphone jack, but then again, you could just use your phone audio. Okay. So next, let's see if I can do this. It said no signal, so it's got power. Get a little red dot over there. And suddenly you can see how dirty this is. I'm sorry, it's a dirty screen. So sometimes I put my finger there and go, oh yeah, it's working, it's on. And then I plug this in. So I'm plugging the other side, I'm plugging this thing into the phone. Oh, you know what? That's the wrong side of the phone. Oh, can I make you guys dizzy? Okay, minor technical hitch there. Here we go. We're back again. Oh, no, it's all over there, I see. So about to plug this in. Let's see what happens. I don't know if this works when recording. I should and yeah, it's up and running. So this is Samsung DeX. That's how I use this. Samsung DeX. What's that? Do you know what Samsung DeX is? It's like a desktop on your mobile phone. So then I can use this. I wonder if this is all alive and working. This one now, see. Don't say the batteries are flat. Okay, look. Mouse. See? Keyboard. Is the keyboard alive? Now, I'm actually recording on this phone at the same time. That's pretty cool. But I do know that if I do something on here, the recording stops. So that's a bit tricky. Samsung DeX, if you have a Hawaii phone of the more recent versions, you can get something similar called just desktop. I think Asus has something as well on their phones, and Samsung on the later generation phones has this option. So you see you have like a little Windows type dock on the bottom there where you can pull up a list of apps. You've got a little desktop here with different apps on there, and you have some of the normal phone features down here. Which is pretty cool. You can see your typical phone stuff. I might launch a couple of these in a minute and just show you. Now, so this is a Samsung Galaxy Note 8, which by the way is not supposed to work on just a cable. It's supposed to need a DeX pad, but it does work with just a cable, which is nice. And all the newer ones, they actually say it works with a cable. It's just that the Samsung won't tell you this one works with a cable because I think they want you to buy the pad, the DeX pad. And there are all these DeX pads out there, and of no use to anybody if you don't want to use the pad. You don't have to, you just buy a cable. That sounds like a much better deal. So I was just playing with this. I'm going to show you what I use Samsung DeX for, what I use this screen for. And I discovered you can actually activate the phone camera via the app, via this, and then we can point it at the screen. Now, if you were clever, I guess you could tell me what the latency of this whole setup is. There's not screen latency, of course, that's separate. Oh, let's go twisty. That's pretty cool. Whoa. Okay, hours of entertainment. I'm sorry. I'll try and stop. I just can't 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 stop. Okay, I've got to stop. I've got to stop. One more time. Two more times. Okay, and back again. So as you can see, I've already started launching an app called Remote Desktop for Windows, for Android I mean. It's a Windows Remote Desktop app. And if I use my finger, this is going to stop the video, but I'll restart again straight away. If I use my finger to press on that. And then there's my computer there, so I'll log into this. And then now I have my computer, my home PC, which I'm now using via my phone on the screen. So I could even launch up I can use this program. I can click on other apps on my home PC. And so this way I can work remotely using my phone and this screen, and with all the power of a powerful home PC. So there you have it, that's what I use it for. Another app I will start to use just to see is, and I'm going to have to just leave you while I change it, Premiere Rush, and this is the Android Premiere Pro sort of app, which gets a pretty bad rap on Google Play, only 3.5 stars out of 5. However, many complaints of those, maybe 20% of the 1.1 star complaints are from people who think it costs too much. But if you buy a whole bunch of Adobe stuff, you get this thrown in for free. And also, it apparently is pretty buggy and crashes often. But I thought I'd try it. It does work nicely on this screen. Let me just. So this is very meta. Here is that program in use editing essentially this video on this phone, which is going to be a little experiment I try, and yeah, so there you go. While I'm here, let's just discuss quickly the other apps that work in this Samsung DeX mode and which ones don't. It is quite nice to watch YouTube videos on here. That works fine. I've watched Netflix on here, and that works mostly fine. Although I did get that black screen of death where the DRM blocks the visual when I was viewing by USB-C, watching I think HDR and HD content. Other content played fine via the cable, this USB-C cable. Then some didn't, and then other times it seemed to just always work, so I don't really know. That time that it didn't work, I then tried playing it via the HDMI cable via the Samsung DeX pad, and that worked fine. I mean, it played that same content that wouldn't play with the USB-C, so maybe that's DRM. We need to type into Netflix problem solving on the web. It appears that whenever you get that black screen, it's a DRM issue. Digital rights management, in case you don't know what that means. I haven't tried Disney Plus. Maybe I should try that. You want to bear with me for a minute? I'll just try this Disney Plus. Oh, Amazon Prime doesn't work at all. Won't even launch in Samsung DeX. So let me fast forward you guys to the future, but for me, I'm going to go the slow way and find out if Disney Plus works. So, I'm sure the other camera view caught that, but that is the, what's it called, The Mandalorian? The Disney Plus TV show? There you can see it is playing just fine, although the minute you hit record on the phone camera, it stops. So I suppose Disney is on to you if you decided to rip a copy of something using the phone camera recording its own display on a different display. They've already onto you, so that it's not going to work. Anyway, so there you have it. Pretty cool. Disney Plus does work. Amazon Prime does not work. Netflix does work. YouTube works. Oh, I don't know. This is just a screen review. I forgot. So viewing angles. Actually, let me go back to the normal screen because it's better. I think it's that button. Okay, back to the normal screen. I'll just try and show you the viewing angles. As you can see, so dead on. Everything's fine. Color is probably overly saturated, a bit overly contrasty. Could probably turn that down if you were really fussy, but you know, nice contrasty screens. Not this looks pretty good. You come around this. Yeah, you can see that change quite quickly as we go off axis. But you know, it's not that expensive. The screen's not too bad. Overall thoughts. Once you have this setup going, it's pretty good. I mean, we're just so used to high quality screens on our phones and probably some of our desktop PCs that when we see an older fashioned screen like this, we're not super impressed. But it does work. It is touch, so I won't touch it because it will stop the video recording, but it does do that. It's just a bit heavy. Has a nice frame. The audio is crap. Don't buy it for the audio. And you know, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. You need a good power supply for it. What else can I say? It does work. So there you have it. I hope that helps you. Okay. I should say, just a word of warning. Your phone will get quite hot, and that's probably one of the benefits of those DeX pad things. It blows cold air on your phone and keeps it cool. My phone is actually getting really quite hot right now, and it is a Note 8, and the Note 7s are the one that blew up, so don't tempt a Note 8 into blowing up. It just might do it. Okay, I better turn this off before it turns into a little miniature bomb. Till next time, one tech review done.